Today I'm going to be sorting through this huge bin of, I would say, antique miniatures to see if they are things that I need to keep, want to keep. Just make sure that they are my favorites, and I do have to minimize what I have, but I have put these things aside because they all have the same feel. If you watched my last video, you might have seen my wall, my last diorama video. I do have some antique key pieces that I love very much on that wall, but I don't think there's enough here to look at that we don't have to. So I mean, we'll get some ideas too. Most of this stuff, this is kind of the thrifted, to be more specific, so I guess that is what differentiates this from the rest of my collection, is that they're tiny little thrifted things. So candlestick holders make great pillars, very good for my aesthetic. You can see it, especially this one, the golden accents. I do prefer getting them in white, and in my main diorama I do use two white ones that are very prominent right now. Oh, that reminds me, I guess I should bring these over. I have replaced these in my diorama with Castle Grayskulls, which sounds not good, but anyway, that is what I use them for. Look how good. And I love these ones because they have that green tone, and I do have lots of plants in my diorama, so it does bring out that. I mean, that alone. See, I'm such a minimalist. I love this. This is going to start looking pretty junky in the end. But, I mean, I've got some great things that I have to decide whether I want to keep. Okay, this is something that I wouldn't necessarily keep. I'm from Nova Scotia, so the fact that I found this and it came with rocks inside of it, which I put separately, I washed the rocks, and I think it was kind of dusty. So, I mean, I washed all this stuff off after thrifting it. But this is actually pretty nice, and it actually reminds me of the furniture in my house when I grew up. We always had knotty pine stuff, so it's actually kind of nice, and it does have that nautical antique feeling. Yeah, I can't get rid of that. I say that for a reason. Now here is a spinning wheel. I mean, also olden days. I love this. I have another one that has it's more unfinished, so I do like that more, but I think this one is larger than that one. It's on the wall. I can grab that. That's not. I think this one is more to scale, even though they're both similar size. This one is definitely nicer and more my style. It's like, I guess, made with oak, and that's kind of the wood that they used to make things like that. I'm guessing, I'm thinking, yeah, and the design of it is this one. No wonder I have this one out is better. But even if it was in the dollhouse and it is out of scale, it can also be a miniature. I mean, it looks so good. It makes me actually think that, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this one. As nice as this is, that one looks just so much better with my stuff. So, look, I didn't really think that this was going to be a minimizing video, but I'm glad that it can be. Alright, here is another angel ornament that I found. I didn't mention that I think these were once available at the dollar store. I think it came with a dollar store ticket on the bottom of it when I bought it, but I found it at the thrift store, and I haven't found anything like this for a long time at the thrift store. This also was from Dollarama in Canada, but I thrifted it. I would probably buy any little angels. Look how good that looks. It's so good. I know that on Temu you can get little statues and busts like this, plaster busts. So I mean, it's not an aesthetic for everyone, but it is for me. So I hadn't found pillars like this. Oh, and also on Temu you can get plastic pillars like this for cake stands and things. I haven't experimented with them, but I am interested in probably ordering some of those to see how. I think they're taller and thinner, and it might be interesting to see that, because I mean, these pillars are totally my aesthetic. So when I find them, I need them. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't realize that I had this one in two colors, two different sizes. I guess I could say both fortunately and unfortunately. Am I gonna set up a little diorama display? I only have one of these, but that is a nice centerpiece. Oh, you know what? Let's put it on here. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I do recommend getting those busts. Where's my other green angel? So looks so good. Okay, let me. That's not what this video is about. We're not setting up a room, even though I should be setting up more rooms. It's just that once I get them set up, I don't want to change them. That looks so good, and them centered in the middle of my wainscoting, my moldings. So cool. Okay, and then let's bring this one back here. You have to pay attention though to scale. Like this one, I thought the base was too big, but it kind of is, but at the same time it's not. Really, you want intricate little tiny things, but then because they're toys, not too intricate. It's a fine line. Frames are a good example of that. Frames can end up looking way too thick. There's something about this one though, which is probably way too thick, but I just love this wood. This actually came with a picture in it. I knocked the picture out. Picture frames, I like to just decorate with picture frames on their own. I mean, my style's not everybody's style, but you can see that can look pretty good. Just balancing an empty picture frame on the wall, because the picture frame in itself is a beauty. So, okay, what else is in here? A canoe, Canadiana, so I'm Canadian, and to have a canoe like this is so nice. I do have some official Mattel canoes from like different toy brands and lines, so I don't mind mixing that in. Look at how all my stuff looks good together. This is freaking me out. But this canoe, it's a real birch bark canoe. I have been wanting to do more Canadiana in my rooms and paying more homage to Native Americans and all of their beautiful art, and we might see that I do have some of that stuff in here. And it's a very Canadiana, old-timey look that I do love and appreciate. Something that I also do love and appreciate. I use those terms loosely without offending anyone. I love like religious iconic statues. I'm not really a religious person myself, but there's just so much power and beauty in these statues. So whenever I find something so beautiful, and I kind of look at the Last Supper. Look at this one, like putting this on a credenza. Look at my I'm rich. Look how rich I am. All of these great statues and stuff that I've collected. Maybe some of them are actually bone, which is great. I don't know who this might be. Mary, Mother of God. So great to have those statues in there. Okay, what else do I have in here? Oh, these barrels. I just picked up 3 of those, which I thought they were the same. So I love finding these. I think these are little Japanese. Sometimes they'll say on the bottom of them, made in Japan. I don't know what era these were from. Maybe the 50s, 60s. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they're from the 80s or 70s. But I keep finding, I love barrels. Again, fits right in with my aesthetic. That time period that I love, turn of the century. But I do have a lot of these little ceramic barrels. Now, they don't look real because they are, ceramic and they're not wooden. But I do actually have lots of wooden barrels. I should go get some of those too. I could actually use them in platforms. So little wooden barrels that I've found at thrift stores. This one opens, so it's just a little box. I think I've seen that you can buy things like that from little wood shops online, but this barrel is nice. There's some writing or something. I like to flip it over, probably use it as a little table or something. Great for displaying your things. I'm really happy though that these are actually different sizes, because that looks better when you're displaying them, that they are different sizes. Stack them like this, and then I have ones with different colors. So if I ever find these little Japanese kind of stoneware, I mean, they're my jam, so I can't not get them, even though they don't really fit in, but you could use them as planters. They do look like giant pots that are made to look like barrels. That kind of thing does exist in real life too. Okay, and I got a yellow one. That's really cool. And I got this big jug one. Now there's this, I've been putting long grasses in this, or I used to, in my dioramas and displays, and I like this. And in real life I collect things that look like this. Turn of the century pottery, two-toned, striped, very common. However, this boho look, where the long grasses and the fluffy, you know, that fluffy stuff, those fluffy grasses that they have coming out, kinda, I don't know, I don't like that look so much. I mean, there are elements of that look that I like, but that specifically where somebody went out of their way to, I don't know, it might be a little too 70s. Yeah, I think that's it for my taste. But okay, more ceramics. Let's go back to this. Look at these. I'm so surprised I found these in tiny little size. Now these might be a little big for the scale, like you can't drink out of these, but they also do make these head mugs in different sizes, and they're old-timey. Prohibition seems to be a big theme here. But yeah, these little tiny china things, I usually keep them separately, and I do have a little box full of other ones that we do have to go through, and we really have to pick and choose which ones we like. This little I don't know, Edwardian, the paint is faded on it too, which is kind of cool. Oh yeah, see, so these things are often made in Japan. I'm not sure when these were popular. Must have been like the 60s, I think. Anyway, this one is so distressed, and so I like that it has a little bit of color. Usually, you know, you can see that my stuff has no color, but just have a little... that was a plastic one, thank goodness. Or a bone one. A little faint bit of color. So I think, let's go to that point. Was this plastic? I mean, this could... Most of this stuff is like real, legit bone and china, and that's kind of what makes this stuff look so cool, is that it's made out of real natural elements and that they're miniature at the same time. Now, I think this one is plastic, and this one's either bone or plastic. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I mean, sometimes you can't tell, sometimes you can tell. I don't know why I'm talking about that. I'm talking about that because that is why all of this is looking good right now, because it is real materials, real natural things that you would have in real life. Okay, I used to use this planter all the time, so there's just a tiny piece of pottery. I do love this. I love the colors. It fits in really well, except I am using 2 wooden barrels right now, because I have 2 of them, and you know, I like everything to match. That's very important. Have you ever noticed in real life when you see somebody's house and they have too many different colored pots that it doesn't look good? Now, I mean, usually you can, I shouldn't say that at all, because you can mix and match these different pots and it would look good, because none of them are plastic and ugly and the scale's good. So yeah, maybe I take some of that back, but I also don't take it back. This is a beautiful handmade pot. pot that looks so good with a giant tree in it. So it's easy to find pots for your dolls that are for your dioramas or your action figures that are for big plants, but it's hard to find small ones, which might bring me to these ones. I have so many of these. I think somebody told me that. I haven't really looked at craft stores at Michael's, but it's really hard to find these. Even at the dollar store, they're always too big. These ones I found it at a thrift store, but I think that this size you probably can find at stores like Michael. I'm really happy that I found these ones because somebody had used them and they're all stained, and I like that. I like the calcium deposits on them and stuff. They look really good, and I have, I don't know, maybe 12 of them that came in a bag, and one day I'm going to put plants in every single one of them, not real plants. Oh, that would be a really good idea for a diorama. Oh my goodness, I never thought about that. That would make an excellent video too, where you plant tiny little herbs that you know how they're going to grow, and then you scatter them around your real plants around the diorama. And then I have to find the perfect saucers for these. I still have not found. Again, they can't be too big, they can't be too small. They have to match my aesthetic. That is a really good idea for a room, growing tiny little plant herbs, and yet you could actually grow them and then put them around the diorama. That would look so nice. Upkeep though, however, maybe I'll just make them out of paper like I have been doing, but I love the tiny little, and I love terracotta. However, terracotta, I've noticed, isn't really matching in with my aesthetic, and it does. They're all neutrals and naturals, but for it to really work, I kind of have to take out all of the other things and then just scatter these pots all around the house. The diorama with plants in them. It would look really good. Okay, I'm not gonna go back to that box. It's you've seen it before. I've showed it to you. Little mini baskets. Check out these. I have to keep all of these. Come on. I think most of these I found together. Maybe I found them separately in two little craft things, but there's different opportunities to use all of these. If I ever make my kitchen, just sticking these up on top of the kitchen, loosely on top of the shelf. So that's what you would do. You would have all these baskets ready to grab them when you need them to take some biscuits to your neighbor or something. Another wooden little it's giant in Dollarama in miniature land, but again, a very Greek-inspired Roman vase kind of thing. So, you never know when you're going to have to switch that up. Everything here is too nice to keep. A little grass skeleton. I don't know what that's doing in here, but that's definitely good to decorate for Halloween. Maybe I have to stick that in my Halloween section, but also it is a very cool miniature that I have. And one that matches my aesthetic, but also is creepy. That's pretty cool. Just something that I thrifted. Also something, let's go worldly. That is kind of a Mexican thing. And then here we have, I don't know what nationality these are, but so cool to have these little dolls. I also have the little worry dolls. Where did I put those? Oh, they're here. So I guess Tibetan, I would say that these are, but just something I found at a little thrift store. I think they probably came with a little write-up on them, and I know that they were new, so like untouched, but these would look really cool if I want to do something like a worldly doll, but also they do look like dolls. They're rudimentary, and they look like ones that you would have in a pioneer landscape like mine. And also other little tiny worldly dolls, which there is a little write-up in here, And this little box on its own was what captured my attention in the thrift store. Definitely an awesome little hat box or something to put up on the wall. But they come with Little Worry dolls, which also little ethnic, amazing little figurines that could be put around. So yeah, there's miniatures from around the world that are handcrafted that definitely fit my aesthetic. So happy to have those things too. Look, I added some color to the room. I mean, it doesn't really go, but it does. Look, there's some color here too. It does. Handcrafted, natural beauty. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, more religious, iconic things. So this plaque, I'm not sure what's on it, but I love it. I guess it looks like a piece of oak. So it could be put on a shelf, put on the wall, depending on, it's got a little stand-up plaque. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, and you can see the colors match. Oh, let's go another little worldly statue. So Ganesh, I guess, elephant god, that made out of handcrafted, carved out of wood. Can't go wrong with that. We do have a felt blue bottom. I mean, that just makes it look expensive, but that would look great standing in the diorama if I want to do a more eclectic, worldly traveler room. Like, I mean, we're getting a little cluttered here, but okay, these chairs, not exactly the right scale for an adult, but they could be kid chairs, and they're just too nice, and they do fit. Like a 10-inch doll, so they're good for like either children. They actually, I don't know, chairs were shorter in olden times. Do I have a doll for reference? Not one that I can get. So, and they're kind of big. Anyway, they're handcrafted and woven seats, and they're made out of wood and white, and you can see that they look so good in here. So even if they don't work as a real chair, they would look good. I mean, it's like a little stool. Sometimes I would use this as a night table, a nightstand, or just a little coffee table, or a planter. Even if I had a tiny little chair, I would use that. So it has so many purposes. Put it in a kid's room, put it in a real room. If you can't use it as a chair, you can use it as a piece of furniture. You can even hang it on the wall, like the Shakers and the Quakers. And another piece of pottery. No, I think this one's real. This one might be a real 1800s stoneware. So, I mean, that's kind of exciting. That's when they would use the cobalt blue, but it's also a giant planter potter. I would normally put that over in my own collection of antique pots, but I'm not sure if it is a modern Chinese or it's actually real turn of the century Pioneer. Does it look rudimentary? On the bottom, it kind of does. It's hard to tell. Anyway, it's nice. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if to put this with my grown-up big collection or keep it in my dioramas. It's gray. It doesn't really suit the colors that I tend to use. I'm going to go stick that with my own stuff, which is a good segue for these two spools. So these are huge, or tiny. They're tiny spools in my world, but in diorama world, they look like giant wire spools for probably when electricity was just invented and they were hanging telephone wires. They would have spools this big, but we would use them as tables in our diorama or just as industrial decorations for taking photographs. But look at this. Now it looks like a hoarder room. But a hoarder room filled with treasures. Okay, and it seems like we're coming down to things that aren't necessarily great. So most of these things are like handcrafted and actual antiques, but these two frames are not. But again, I have removed the photos or whatever what was in them, but the fact that they're made out of metal, so that I think they're made out of a very weird material. I think they're metal. I think they're made out of aluminum because it's a lighter metal, but they're nice and solid. But you can see the details on them. They are two different colors, but that's okay. They're both white. They're different shades of white. Again, a frame just to hang on the wall. I love it, just to lean up against the wall. Looks so good. So those definitely fit in with my aesthetic. This is, I've used this plenty of times. This is a new frame. I am very surprised by, so it's I think it's even Umbra. Again, I removed everything from it. I've used it in dioramas before where I just leaned it up. And when I looked at this box, I was going to decide and say, hey, I'm not going to put that up. Because I do notice sometimes when I see people's dioramas that maybe the scale of the frame is a little out of proportion. Like this is too thick. And you can tell that it's not real. But in this case, it does look like a big frame. I think that the scale I think it works. And it actually looks like a giant white frame. So I thought that was something that I was definitely going to get rid of. But no, this bicycle though, I do have a bicycle collection. The gray metal, I think it's too new. I like the wooden seat. I like that it's made out of metal. I like that it probably is the same size for slate to ride on. But it is too modern. So, the design of the bike isn't, and I'm not going to spray paint it or anything. If I spray painted it black, I would 100% think that it was awesome. But I'm not going to make that effort, and I don't need to keep it that much. So, I need to get rid of some stuff. These basket garbage cans that I found are, again, they have that kind of Tibetan world traveler look, so that is why I do like these. They're probably handmade, made out of grass, and I like these little accents of color. Red and green. I could probably even use them at Christmas time to have an old-fashioned basket Christmas. Those I have to keep. Something that I love. This scale of this is a little bit out of whack, but I could probably still use this as a weird sink with not necessarily use it as a pot or something, or just even use it as a kitchen decoration. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like a bedpan, or, there's possibilities. I love white porcelain, and the scale might not be right, but this has potential of just being a decoration on the wall. And because I do have so much white porcelain, that I'm surprised. Here's another piece of white porcelain that is painted. It's just a tiny little box that could look okay. Not one of my favorites. I guess both of these, I would have these out in my diorama if they were some of my favorites. So maybe I will question, I don't know, there's something about, I guess the squared pottery would not be very common. They would have to be round. It would be really hard to make this, and it wouldn't be very practical to have something in this shape from the pioneer times. It would be harder to make. So maybe that's what I don't like. These plates I have here are a little too oversized, but I have noticed when I put them on, I use them as art. They look really good. So I do sometimes buy these things, and they do look good standing, like a giant plaque on the back of a stand. Again, some religious, the Last Supper is very popular in this. I definitely have to do a Jesus room sometime, but yes, again, that's standing on putting it on the wall or standing on an armoire. Oh, and this one is beautiful. So it's like having a painting in your home, and that is very, 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 very pretty. I have these glass fruits that would look really cool. I definitely have to make a kitchen. I've got lots of stuff to make a kitchen. So have I opened this box before? think I have. It's taped down. I guess maybe I haven't. Anyway, look at the little glass pieces of fruit, which would work good as ornaments or pretend real food. I kind of like them at the idea of them as decorations for the house, but those are beautiful, handcrafted glass. Well, they're made in China, so I don't know. Whoops. They're not antique or anything, but they're beautiful, and those are really cool. And then I do have this little wooden metal hanger, which is from a Christmas decoration, I believe. But I do like this wooden hanger. Or it's not wooden. I actually have a wooden one, but I'm using it somewhere else. And a little tiny miniature antique wooden hanger, and I love it. Where is that? I gotta find that. But this thing is a pretty nice little white hanger. Potential if you just want to hang one thing. I do have collections of other hangers that match each other, but that is kind of a special hanger for me, because if you just need to have one hanger in the diorama, and I like my pops of white, so it does look good if there's that. If you just need one hanger to show one garment. And then this is definitely a pièce de résistance. It's kind of thick, but I have used this as the top of a hutch, and the details on it are so nice that, oh look, there's Snake Mountain. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It needs a cleaning, but you can put it this way or this way, and sometimes it's a little too detailed, and the browns are a little too brown, but you can see that it can look quite expensive and quite antique. Look at it matching all of the colors of everything that I love. So yeah, I think I might even get rid of this, even though I do love it, and I think I'm gonna get rid of this, even though it's not bad. And I might have to really take a look at most of this other stuff and really and probably divide it and put it into other places. But now that I have a hoarder antique room, oh my goodness, maybe that'll be the thumbnail. We'll see. I might want to set it up a little bit better than this. But yeah, now I have a whole task of me having to organize this stuff, but it is quite a good collection of little miniature things. So happy to show you these things. Let me know what your favorite thing is. Let me know your ideas. I always love hearing your ideas of what you would do with what. But pretty much, you got something miniature. I don't have a problem coming up with ideas. That's why I have these things, because I know that they're so versatile. You can use barrels upside down, right side up. Some of these things can be tables. Some of them can just be decorations. You can sit on them. These are things that I would have in my home, so I have them in my miniature home. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again real soon. See you then.